Well, one of our top focus remains all that's been happening in Iran, where protests have only been spiraling. Thousands of Iranians are back on the streets despite a deadly crackdown and a threat of death penalty as well. This comes as President Donald Trump had said that US is ready to help Iranians achieve freedom. The 2 weeks of demonstrations have posed one of the biggest challenges to the theocratic authorities who have ruled Iran since 1979. Crowds gathered again on Saturday in the north of the Iranian capital, setting off fireworks and banging pots as they shouted slogans in support of the ousted monarchy. Videos shared on social media showed crowds gathered in Punakh Square in Tehran, where they chanted anti-government slogans and "Long live the Shah" as fireworks erupted overhead. The internet is down in Iran and phone lines have also been cut. According to US-based human rights activist news agency, the death toll in the protests has grown to at least 116, while over 2,600 people have been detained so far. Authorities have reportedly arrested 100 armed rioters in a town that is just outside Iran. The country's attorney general has warned that anyone taking part in protests will be considered an enemy of God, the charge that comes with death penalty under the Iranian law. In London, a protester briefly replaced the flag of the Islamic Republic of Iran on its London embassy with a former flag. A video posted to social media showed a man replace the flag with one that was used during the rule of the ousted Shah. It stayed in place for several minutes before being removed. A familiar name parallelly is trying to shape the moment, and that is the exiled son of Iran's toppled monarch, Reza Pahlavi, who's urged Iranians to go further, calling on them to seize the city centers. He's also pressed Iranian workers to launch a nationwide strike.
Our goal is no longer merely to come to the streets. The goal is to prepare for seizing the centers of cities and holding them.
President Donald Trump said on Saturday that his country was ready to help the movement. A day earlier, he'd even said that Iran was in big trouble, having written on his social media account that Iran is looking at freedom perhaps like never before. The US stands ready to help is what President Trump had said. Also, a US media report stated that officials are mulling how to implement President Trump's warnings. The Wall Street Journal, citing insiders, has reported that the Trump administration is reportedly drawing up preliminary plans for an attack on Iran, which could include large-scale airstrikes. The report even added that there is no consensus in Washington on a specific course of action yet. And we earlier spoke with Iranian journalist Youssef Jalali on the ground situation in Iran, an excerpt on what he had to say.
The Iranian Supreme Leader made very strong remarks recently, and he said that he advised protesters to keep it legitimate, keep it peaceful. And then he said that he drew a very thick red line between what he calls protesters and rioters, who he says that please the U.S. president and Iranian enemies. So he made it clear that any kind of protest or any kind of sabotage or vandalism that lead to some maybe casualties or clashes or confrontation with security forces, those people, if captured, then they will face severe punishment or harsh punishment. This is a message that was sent to the protesters on the street. He said that, meanwhile, he said that he acknowledges the legitimate demands of the protesters. Iranians have been living under severe economic challenges, but when it comes to undermining the national security of Iran, he said that those people are regarded as saboteurs or some vandals or people who want to please the enemies of the Islamic Republic. And following his comments, we see that pro-government protests or counter-protests have been staged by people who chant slogans in favor of the Islamic Republic and calling for protesters to remain peaceful, and saying that vandalizing or setting fire to banks and public property is not acceptable.